Hey, what's up, guys? About to get started right here. It's going to be a good one today. Boom, that's done. Okay. All right. What's up? Um, all right. So today I am talking about building the ultimate stream machine. And it's not what you think, maybe. I was Googling ultimate stream machine yesterday, and it was like a bunch of people trying to build like the ultimate stream machine PC. It's like, and if you're the type of person who wants to do that, chances are you are going to want to hear this. So, um, I got so much. I don't want to spill it all before the podcast, but I did want to give you a little bit behind the scenes here. So, the reason for this is I have been reading Chet Holmes's Ultimate Sales Machine, and I was like, dude, that is such a cool title. And on the front of the cover are gears. It's like I've told the story a couple of times how I named Geared Up after the game Gears of War. Because to me, like thinking back on Gears of War, I haven't talked about Gears in a very long time. And, self-realization in progress epiphany right now is like, I haven't talked about Gears of War in a long time. It's like, that's the whole reason for the name of your company. It's like, there has to be a why in there. So let me talk about that why. So through an area of my life where I was highly confused about the direction of my life, is like, what do I want to be? What do I want to do? It's like one of the things that I enjoyed and actually got me through day-to-day life was this little series called Gears of War. I was obsessed. Me and my buddy Tim and another buddy Josh, like it would not be uncommon for us to get on there and practice like all day. Like, not necessarily to win. Like, we're getting on there to practice, getting on there to learn the game, like the ins and outs. Like, oh man, those were the days. Those were the glory days. And I remember like whole days dedicated to just sniping, and then the next day we'd work just shotguns and just lancers and then just pistols and this versus that. And it was like totally awesome and geeking out over it. And it was like just the brotherhood that came along with that, the community. It was a way where I stayed in touch with my friends all the time. And it was honestly outside of school. It was the only social interaction I had, because I've never been the type, the go to a party type of guy. I just haven't, and it's something that I miss to this day. And whenever I took on exactly what I'm going to talk about in the podcast today, I knew that with becoming a business owner, with taking that on and in an effort to take control of my own life, I knew that those late nights, those times spent playing with the guys were, like that was going to be going away, at least to some degree, if not all the way, for some extended periods of time. Because I remember telling them, it's like, hey guys, just letting you know, it's like, I am about to disappear. I'm on a goal. I'm going on a journey, and only I can do this. I love you guys, but you guys are going to have to give me my space right now. Because I was trying to figure out who I was. And, those, I'm always there for those guys. If they called me right now in the middle of this, I would stop this and I would answer it. And I'd be like, "What's up, man? How you been?" Like, and I know that relationship would pick up again just like that. Those are real relationships. You know, the same guy, Tim, like we hadn't talked in like 2 to 3 years maybe. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, want to be in my wedding?" I was like, "Okay." And then we were there and it was like just picking up where we left off. And then away we went. You know, it's like that can be interpreted in a very disempowering way too. But dude, I mean, I've gone through some abandonment issues for a number of reasons. I'll get them to them, not getting all into it right here, right now, because we'd be here a while. But just knowing that that bond is there, it's like brothers to the end is, I'm not sure which tense to use right here, but it is it was a slogan that they used for Gears of War 3, brothers to the end. And of course, you know, spoiler alert, I guess, but you know, Dom dies in Gears of War 3, and that's a huge deal if you follow the story. And you know, I named my company Gear It Up because not only was this, you know, at the time I was specifically talking about my body, but it was named Gear It Up. I remember having the conversation with my wife, Amanda. It's like, "What is it?" And it's like, your life is what it ended up being. You know, it's like, that's the mission, is like, we're taking your life and we're gearing it up. We're making it into, you know, that machine that plays to you, you know, and you don't play to it. Being better in control of your life, of yourself, you know, being the best you can be. And it symbolizes that, but it's also a nod to that growing up. And this has all been in the pursuit, really. You know, this is like my selfish part of it. It's like, wouldn't it be awesome to where you can actually get to a place financially where not only you can play video games again, like as much as I want to, like I still do, just a touch, just to kind of keep up some semblance of skill. But not only that, just get all your friends and show them how to build their own ultimate stream machine too, you know, and let them have their own personal win. And to this day, that's still it. So shout out to my guys who know who you are right now. And I'm not far from home. You know, I'm circling back, and it's been a long time coming. It's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I have not forgotten about you guys. Okay. So with that, I'm going to start the actual podcast now. That was a little more behind the scenes than I thought I would do today, but hey, there was some juicy stuff in there. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I was just thinking. Okay. On your mark, get set, and what's up, guys? In today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about my journey, my obsession, my goal, and my desire to build this ultimate stream machine that really covers everything. You know, like I didn't realize how much went into being a streamer whenever I first got into it back in the day. I didn't realize like all the time spent building up the channel, getting graphics made, and doing the social media marketing. And, honestly, I didn't have very big goals whenever I started Twitch streaming. It was really just kind of like a joke, a gag in between friends one time whenever one of my buddies couldn't play that night. And I was like, hey, I know you're called at this thing you don't want to be at. What if we streamed it and just hung out that way and just have some laughs? And we did, and it was fun, and everybody was kind of in on it. And I was like, man, that was awesome. That'd be cool to actually do that and have it make money. And not that money was the end goal for the stream, but I also owned a business, and it was and still is, the core message of it has not changed. It is about being all you can be, and that includes taking care of yourself. So it started out as exclusively health and fitness, though, and I got this bright idea. I was like, I'm going to use my stream to connect with more people so I can help more people with their health. Because, I had lost 100 pounds and I had kept it off for several years. And I'm like, I got this thing, under control. I have something special, and I feel great. My body gets better every day. It's like, I have a message, I have a purpose, because I know what it feels like to be on the other end of 100 pounds overweight, and being crushed. And so I got on there with a mission, but in my quest to connect and contribute, I actually ended up getting pretty disconnected with that original purpose. I forgot, or just took the wrong path, zigged when I should have zagged. I mean, I could go back and I could think of a number of events that I gained some beliefs from that sent me one way or another. But the way it actually manifested for me was, oftentimes I was streaming to an empty room for a lot of hours, and it didn't matter how much I was spewing my guts out about how much losing weight helped me. I didn't know how to articulate it in a way that was actually going to work. And I was just devaluing myself. I was giving out every tip and trick in the book whenever that occasional somebody would come into the room, and there would be this conversation, and they'd follow, and they get all this incredible information from me, and then never come back to my channel again, even though I helped. And I was like, that's cool. I'm fine, with it. But the more I did that, and the channel growth speed itself is I was gaining ground, but it just was not fast enough, because, like I said, it's at the end of the day, the point of the business is to make money. And, if I wasn't going to play to win, I shouldn't be playing at all. And the real problems that were really hidden beneath the surface for me was, after, my friends had day jobs and stuff, I was the only weird one of the bunch that could do and make my schedule how I wanted. So while they were at work, I was streaming, and then kind of getting on this train of just putting more time, just grind. But there was no objective. There was no objective. I devalued myself to the point where I was like, why am I even streaming anymore? I'm putting in so much time. I need to be doing other stuff. I don't want to feel like a failure as a husband, as a provider, as all this stuff, because all of my grand plans had blown up in my face at this point. And, I was just a monkey in a cage, in a self-imposed cage, because the more this happened, the more I closed myself off, and I was, doing crazy shit in my stream for tips. It was what have I become? That's not the way it's supposed to work. I'm not going to adapt to these people who are just looking to throw bits at me or throw me donations. Donations are cool and everything, but I want to help and support my people. And, it finally hit me one day. It's okay, if you're actually going to win this game, how about you actually go and learn business? And I was like, oh, I'd heard so many times from the most popular streamers, or the streamers that I followed that had a following and actually were building a community, they were like, you have to treat your stream like a business. And I was like, I have a business, and I was still trying to understand. It was like understanding how to help somebody with their health and fitness, not a problem. It was like understanding what it means to actually own a business and be a business owner, and like how am I supposed to use my time? And these were all these questions I had no idea how to answer, but I was like, I knew that I had to learn sometime, and it was time to stop winging it. No objective. I was just mistaking movement for achievement. I was the poster boy, as a result of all that stuff. So I knew I was going to have to first learn what to say to get my people to raise their hand and identify themselves. And man, that was a process. So I had to learn how to tell stories in this structured way that brought people to me instead of me going out there and chasing all the time, going into streamers that have a slightly larger fan base than me and hanging out and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, that's cool and everything to get some organic churn going on. It's like, God, that's so slow. And you're just getting a shot. Like, okay, 20 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, it doesn't really matter. It's like you're going to have about 3 to 5 seconds once they come in here, and you don't know when they're coming. It's just going to be like, we're here. It's like you have 3 to 5 seconds to capture their attention to get them to stay. It's like, gotta get good at telling stories, and gotta get good at either being like super pumped up while I'm telling the stories, really flowing that emotional juice out there. But I also have to have that 3 to 5 second version. It's like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm already in it. It's like, describe why we should stay really fast. So there was this whole thing, and I didn't know that it was actually called marketing. Like I had a definition problem. I thought it was something else. I thought it was like flyers and logos. I didn't understand what marketing was, and I didn't even know that I already, having a stream, having a business, already was a marketer. It never occurred. Whenever that finally hit me was listening to one of Garrett White's of Wake Up Warriors, one of his Funnel Hacking Live presentations. Is like, part of it was like, I am a marketer. I was like, huh, okay. And then it was like, all right, so now that you got people to raise their hands, what do they need to do next? It's like, well, got to learn how to articulate what you do. Like, how do you provide value? I'm like, and my first knee jerk was like, well, I play video games. That's pretty cool, right? It's like, again, had forgotten the why. The mission had gone away. I was like, if I'm going to make it as a streamer, I got to do some crazy stuff. And it's like, no, man, you're playing the wrong way. But like, one of the things I was going to learn how to articulate the sales. And again, this was another case of mistaken thought pattern here. Cause I was like, sales, like trying to sell somebody, that's so sleazy and so ulterior motive. Like it's for money, and I'm not very money driven. And it's like, those are all true things, but that's not what sales is. Sales is articulating the offer, is like value versus value, and part of that was being able to value myself, which I did not for all the things that I had talked about before. It was like, not only was I at the lowest of the low of my life, it was like all my grand plans with MMA and personal training people and playing video games for fun in my downtime came to a screeching halt with that ACL injury. It ended up being a lot of walls, and I had to, gather myself and find where my value was, because I had staked a lot of my value and my ability to perform my job as a personal trainer and be healthy. And as a result, I found myself in that spot where I'm like, you are not healthy currently. You have no value currently, is where my brain went. It was totally stupid, but it took a long time and took a lot of work to get that undone. And then I knew I was going to have to, possibly learn how to do the hardest part. And fortunately, I had the opportunity to learn and cut my teeth selling gym memberships at at my MMA gym for fitness kickboxing and other stuff for a little bit, and so thankful for that opportunity. And at the time it was like pulling teeth. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, I know I need to know how to do this, but I'm not really the best one at doing it. And that was my belief pattern, and that was true. But at the end of the day, what happened is, like, I realized I was good at closing, at getting the handshake, but it was only because all this prior work came into it. And it's like, notice I haven't said anything about the emotes that your subscribers get, or it's like, that's just like, Twitch is your show and it's great for engagement, and that's part of it. Engaging and actually creating a community with your audience is the secret sauce. But in order to do that effectively, it's like learning the marketing, sales, and closing, three distinct parts. At least understanding what's going on and being able to perform that is synonymous with being a streamer, because what I've learned is to stream is to own a business, and to own a business, and all a business is marketing and innovation, and a stream is that amplifier for it. But here's the thing too. Here's some stuff that felt kind of bad. Like, my stream time suffered, and I thought that was a bad thing at first. I like letting go of streaming, that mindset of like, grind, stream for hours. It's like, while you're not streaming, someone else has your viewer. It's like, dude, going about this all wrong. Think about, and thank goodness for like some Russell Brunson stories, among others, about, people having their own shows and paying attention. I'm like, he says, I think it was Arsenio Hall that Russell Brunson uses. He talks about, nobody skipped his phone calls or declined his phone calls when he had his own show. And it was like, that's what it felt like. It felt like I was losing my show whenever I went from streaming a bunch of hours to small number of hours to eventually periods of no streaming. And I will rant at length on why that's actually a good thing too. Like, it for your health and your wealth and your relationships, I would say that streaming is probably like a very seasonal thing, much like your body. Like, sometimes you need to stretch, sometimes you need to strengthen, sometimes you need to do nothing. It's like, it's one of those things, as is a business. And at the end of the day, it's like, what I understand is, like, I've learned all these essential skills to creating this money machine that's going to make money while I sleep, regardless of if I choose to stream or not, because I have a business and I'm providing value beyond gameplay. And I know that you have something that you can do with that as well. And it would be as simple as just like, hey guys, I'm streaming, and I guarantee you fill that room up, and all that money coming in, all that donation money, all of a sudden turns to ad money, to where you can just amplify and get your message out there even more. And understanding, again, coming back full circle and always kind of understanding my own patterns, and embracing the support role. I am a support character, and video games taught me that. They taught me that lesson, more so than anything else. And I say support because, like, I was doing a behind the scenes that I normally do on YouTube right before I start, and I talk about the difference between helping people and supporting people. Is like, you can only help the people that are swimming towards you, and the ones that are in the water swimming away. Again, another Russell Brunson ism right here. Like, it's a running joke between me and a buddy about the book of Brunson and Brunsonisms and stuff like that. But he talks about that you can only help the ones that are swimming towards you. It's like the ones that are just floating in the water and accepting death. It's like they're done. And by saying support, this is a team effort. We're going to lean on each other and amplify with our relationships, because that's the point of relationships anyway. And I know that that's what every one of us wants at the end of the day is not good, but amazing relationships in our life. And, you know, after having disconnected from the stream for a little bit, is realizing what I was doing, and my why came back to me. The mission is still the same. It's still about being the best you can be and doing the best that you can do, and remembering that you are truly one upgrade away. Hooray! Podcast in one take today. That was fairly long to feel like. So, by the way, there's it sounds so funny to say this now, but I am going to be deliberating to my people. It gets funny to say my people, my team, my teammates, my members of my own personal team, Rainbow, the elite online marketers that are about to take over Twitch land. If you haven't heard about us, you will soon. But the only way to even have a shot at getting on the team is to get on my wait list down here. So there will be a link in the description. It'll be gearedupinsider.com/coming-soon. Get on that waiting list, because we are about to drop something really, really soon, like maybe Black Friday soon. If not then, immediately after. And, I tell you what, this is my Black Friday offer right here, right now. And I need you to listen to me. Get on that waiting list so you can get the latest and greatest on how to build your own ultimate stream machine. And the waiting list closes on Black Friday. So get there. So successful. See ya.